So this is the two-sum problem, and if you've read it, what this problem is saying is that you have to find two indexes. There will be two numbers in the array which add up to the target, and you have to return the indexes of those numbers that add up to the target. And there will always be exactly one solution. So if you look at the first example, a 2 plus a 7 equals a 9, but there will never be like an 8 plus a 1 which equals a 9. There will only be like one solution. And in the second example, you can see a 2 plus 4 equals 6, so you return index 1 and 2, and you do the same for the rest, etc., etc. So I created an algorithm, and there's many ways to do this, but the simple version is two for loops. And what you're going to do is you're going to create two for loops, and the outer loop is going to be compared to the inner loop. And what I mean by that is, so let's look at the second example where 3, 2, 4. So what this algorithm is going to do is the outer loop is going to stay at 3, then it's going to like add 3 plus 2, and it's going to check, does 3 plus 2 equal 6, which is the target? No. And if that's not the case, the inner loop is going to move on to the next number. Does 3 plus 4 equal 6? No, that equals 7. And since the inner loop completes its iteration and hasn't found a target, the outer loop will then increment. And the outer loop will always the outer loop's going to increment, and the inner loop will always start at one place after the number it's at, because you don't want to compare to the numbers previously before, because you've already done that, and you don't want to add the number to itself, so you don't start at the number. So you want to do 2 plus 4, and you're going to check, does 2 plus 4 equal 6, and that's the case. If that's the case, then you're going to add the indexes to an array and then return the array. So as you can see in this example, I created an array of 2, because you will always have two numbers, as the problem says, two indexes. And then I created the two for loops, and what I created is, in the inner loop I make an if statement. So I'm going to check this example, does 3 plus 2 equal 6? No. So the inner loop continues. Does 3 plus 4 equal 6? No. No. And the inner loop has completed its iteration, so it's going to move to the outer loop, and then it's going to now be at 2. And since this array has 0, 1, 2, and yeah, and it's going to so the inner loop is going to start at the index up here plus 1. So that's going to be 2 plus 4, and it's going to check, does 2 plus 4 equal 6? And yes, that does equal 6. So at index 0 in the array, you're going to add I. At index 1, you're going to add j, which are the indexes of both the numbers. And then what you're going to do is you're going to break out of the loop once both those indexes have been found, because there's no point of continuing any of the loop because you found the numbers. That will just cause extra time and extra memory, I guess. And so you eventually return the array, and then you get the solution, and I can run it, and yeah, this is the output to show that it works.